Well, I saw Dumb Money. So this was a regular. This was quite a movie weekend for me. Saw The Creator on Friday. Saw Dumb Money today. Um, I was just more or less curious about Dumb Money because, as I stated before in a previous video, when I first saw the previews for this movie, I was like, "Wow, this is really interesting that Hollywood is coming in on the side of populism here. And, Hollywood is weighing in with this movie against Wall Street, against wealthy hedge fund people, and in favor of the little guy out there who's keeps getting screwed. Um, and I don't know. It's still a little discombobulating that they made this movie. For one thing, the turnover or the turnaround. I don't know what the right word would be, but in any case, all this stuff happened just a little over 2 years ago. It's like two and a half years ago that the events that are recorded in the movie all actually happened. So it's pretty soon afterwards. To be having 2020 2021 nostalgia, like like anyone wants to like anyone feels nostalgic for those years. I know I sure don't. I don't think I ever will. But anyway, that alone is curious. The fact that they have weighed in on the side of the Wall Street bets people is also interesting to me, just because I can well remember when all this was going down, when the Wall Street bets thing was happening, and there was this movement to put money to drive up the stock of GameStop because wealthy hedge fund people were shorting it. And again, I know very little about economics here, but I understand the general idea here, the general principles of this whole the whole movement, and it was very much of a stick it to Wall Street, stick it to the establishment kind of thing. But the way that it got portrayed by the mainstream media at the time, and I'm remembering this quite explicitly, was that Wall Street Bets was like a 4chan type of group, like a bunch of miscreants, who have some kind of alt-rightish tendencies and are anti-Semitic and racist and use forbidden words like retard and faggot and what have you. Like they were sort of painting them as these kinds of these hicks or these rednecks or these, I don't know, just these people of no account that should be looked down on and ignored. Like these sort of conspiracy theorists kind of people. The way that the mainstream media has attempted to paint dissident, like truly dissident groups for the last 6 or 7 years, generally, ever since the mainstream media just got frightened out of its mind because of the election of Trump. This is the way they've behaved. This is the way that they have tended to portray reality. And now it seems that they want to do a 180 and, depict and jump on the populism bandwagon again and say, no, like these hedge fund people, they're bad, they're evil, they're these, out of touch, hyper privileged rich people, and who just happen to be of a particular ethnicity, but they don't really talk too much about that. But again, they don't. It's there to be discovered if you look a little bit more closely. And one of them is played by Seth Rogen. That's not really, casting wise. That's sort of a it's within the scope of the ethnicity that is being portrayed. Let us just say. So speaking very gingerly on that topic, just because, not because I'm afraid of it, but just because I don't want to. This is YouTube. There is no such thing as free speech in these parts, so you have to tread carefully in some ways. You have to be prudent, and so I'm just trying to be prudent about that. But as for the movie itself, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. I thought some of the performances were good. I thought Paul Dano, as the head of this whole Wall Street Bets movement, the Mr. Kitty or whatever his actual name is, I can't remember right now. The one who popularized the statement, "I like the stocks," who just broadcast from his basement, and was the one putting all this money in GameStop and got others to go along with him, and they were gonna they're gonna hold the line and not sell, and because the whole idea was to send a message to Wall Street. I thought he was good, and I thought that a lot of the performances were good within the scope of the movie itself, and there were some funny moments, and but I didn't think it was. It didn't give you that much to chew on, really. In contrast to, say, a movie like The Big Short, which came out a few years ago, which I see this movie as in some ways a sequel to. The Big Short was released in 2016, but it was about the 2008 housing bubble burst, or the economy's free fall after the bursting of the housing bubble and all that went into that whole mess. But that movie was much more entertaining and much more substantive, and there was more to chew on. This seemed like it was kind of made in a hurry. Just not as much there. That's the only way I can think to put it. So as far as talking about the movie itself, it's okay. It's semi-entertaining. I think the most interesting thing about the movie is the fact that it has been made. So now I'm not sure, and what interests me is, as somebody who watches the media, with a very cynical, jaded eye, a very jaundiced perspective. It's like they're trying to pull a big switcheroo here, because I don't remember back in late 2020 and early 2021 when all this was going on. I don't remember there being a lot of boosters in the media for the Wall Street Bets people. I seem to remember them being like, and the movie even talks about how the power block came for these people, and they made it so that they fixed it so that that Robinhood, the online group that provided regular people the ability to buy or sell stock online, they showed how they got their arm twisted Eventually, after the stock for GameStop went way, 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 way up, and the hedge funds were really hurting, they showed how their arms got twisted essentially, and they made it so that you couldn't buy any more stock. You could only sell the stock that you had in GameStop, and the travesty that amounted to. I mean, and they also showed how Paul Dano's character, how Mr. Kitty, got how his group got kicked off of Reddit because they were accused of hateful or discriminatory behavior, and it's like, wow, they're actually showing this. They're actually showing people, the establishment coming after people unfairly and deplatforming them, and accusing them of things like hate and what have you, of racism and anti-Semitism and so forth, and they're showing this to be a bad thing. Like it's like, where are you at, Hollywood? Whence this switcheroo here? How are you now, siding with the populists that you have been deriding, the populist movement that you have been so down on for so long? This seems like a really big switcheroo to pull. So I guess what I'm saying here isn't all that different from what I was saying when I first saw the ads for the movie, because the movie itself isn't all that revelatory. Like I said, it's okay. It's passable. It's diverting. It's not great. But the most interesting thing about it is the fact that it was made at all. And now there's an effort for them to reclaim, for the Hollywood elites to try to reclaim the populist angle again, and say, no, we're with you, downtrodden middle America, struggling working man and woman. We're with you. We don't think you're a bunch of racist, sexist, homophobic, what have yous. We're down with you. Like, where were you 2 years ago? And why this change? That's that's the biggest question that I have in my mind after watching this movie. Whence this change? Anybody with any ideas? I'm open. I'm all ears. I'd love to hear what y'all have to say about this. Thanks for watching.